Can you believe it? After years of grinding away, I finally took my first vacation in what felt like forever, dreaming of a peaceful countryside escape where I could finally claim a little house of my own. But then, bam, enter Karen, this audacious woman who stormed in and decided my beautiful new home actually belonged to her daughter. She had the nerve to demand I just hand it over for free, no less. Who does that? Of course, I stood my ground and refused. But get this, she didn't just walk away. Oh no, she escalated things to a whole new level and attacked me with pepper spray. Can you imagine the shock? She had no idea I'm an FBI agent trained to handle way worse than her petty tantrums. Naturally, she didn't back off after that. Her audacity was relentless. But let me tell you, my patience, it's not infinite. This wild tale is going to blow your mind. I promise it's packed with twists that'll keep you hooked. Before I dive in, though, please hit that subscribe button on our channel. We're pouring our hearts into exposing these outrageous Karen stories, and we need as many people as possible to hear them. Drop a comment too. Where are you from? Ever tangled with a Karen in real life? Thanks so much for joining me. Here we go. My name's Jason Harris, and I've been busting my tail for the FBI, chasing down chaos and tension for years. Finally, I said, enough is enough. I deserved a break. So I scraped together my savings and bought myself a cozy little house in a quiet suburb just a few days ago. Picture this. Me, moving in, boxes everywhere, imagining nothing but peace and quiet after years of noisy city neighborhoods that never slept. I was so ready to kick back, breathe deep, and start a fresh chapter, maybe even plant a garden or just sit on the porch with a coffee, you know? But oh man, was I in for a rude awakening. That very first evening, as the sun dipped low and I was unpacking the last of my stuff, a loud, aggressive knock rattled my front door. This wasn't some friendly neighbor with a welcome pie, no way. Whoever was out there pounded like they owned the place. I dropped the box I was holding, my heart racing a little. Couldn't I get just one night of calm? Took a deep breath and braced myself as I swung the door open. Trouble, it seems, had already RSVP'd to my new life. There she stood, this middle-aged woman glaring at me like I'd stolen her crown. Dressed in a stiff, no-nonsense suit, her eyes locked onto mine with this smug, commanding vibe. She oozed control, freak energy. Seriously, who walks up to a stranger's house looking like they're about to run the world? Not a single flicker of warmth crossed her face. And I knew right then this wasn't a social call. You can't be in this house, she barked, her voice so sharp it could have cut glass. I blinked, stunned. Excuse me? I'd prepped for a lot in my FBI career shootouts, interrogations, but this? What are you talking about? I shot back, raising an eyebrow. The house is occupied, she snapped again, like I was supposed to just nod and grab my bags. I don't know who you are, but you need to leave. Leave? My own house? I smirked, half amused, half baffled, leaning casually against the doorframe. That's news to me, I said coolly, because last I checked, my name's on the deed legally. This place is mine. She frowned, her face twisting like I just ruined her whole day. That's impossible, she spat. My daughter was supposed to move in next month. This house was meant for her. I let that sink in for a beat, my mind racing. Meant for her? Says who? Before I asked, real slow, and who promised you that? Her chin jutted out, and with all the confidence of a dictator, she declared, I did. Oh, you've got to be kidding me. I manage the HOA in this neighborhood, she went on. Like that gave her divine authority. I decide who has the right to live here and who doesn't. This house wasn't supposed to be sold. I took a long, deep breath. Here we go. I thought, because this wasn't going to be some quick chat over the fence. Look, I said, keeping my cool, I'm not part of your HOA. And frankly, I don't give a damn who you are. I bought this house fair and square. It's mine, legally. End of story. She hesitated, her eyes narrowing like she was sizing me up for a fight. Listen, she said, dropping her voice to this fake sweet tone that didn't fool me for a second. I'm sure you don't want to cause any trouble. We all maintain order here. My daughter's been waiting for this house for months. I think it would be best if you just... She trailed off, like I'd magically agree to pack up and vanish. Oh, hell no. I raised a hand, cutting her off mid-sentence. Let's not drag this out, lady, I said, firm but steady. I don't care who your daughter is or what she's been waiting for. I bought this house legally, and I'm not going anywhere. So unless you've got some official paperwork to back up your crazy claims, I suggest you hit the road. Her face shifted surprise, anger, and she stepped back, staring at me like I was some puzzle she couldn't crack. I wasn't budging, though not an inch. But as an FBI agent, I knew better than to let my guard down. This wasn't random something about her scream trouble with a capital T. Karen, I said, clocking her name from that HOA spiel. I get that you run this little neighborhood club, but I'm not just handing over my dream house because you say so. My voice stayed calm, but inside, I was boiling. How dare she? She eased up just a fraction, her icy stare softening ever so slightly, though she still clung to that control freak attitude. I understand this is unexpected for you, she said, like she was doing me a favor by explaining. But no matter how you try to spin it, I've got all the documents proving this house is legally mine. I paused, letting that sink in. Checkmate, Karen. She tilted her head, her eyes still locked on me, unyielding. Do you really think your documents will help you in this neighborhood? She sneered, a tiny smirk tugging at her lips. We have rules here, and I follow them. Rules? What rules? I'm not the type to roll over and play dead, I fired back, my voice steady as steel. Your little HOA rules don't trump the law. Karen, deal with it. She took a sharp breath, turned on her heel and started to leave, but not before tossing one last zinger over her shoulder. Time will tell, Jason, she called out, her voice dripping with menace. You shouldn't underestimate what I can do if you don't follow the local rules. She strutted off, leaving me standing there, adrenaline pumping. Was she serious? Did she really think she could scare me off? I shook my head. Maybe there was some truth to her threat, but no way was I letting that fester. Staying calm didn't mean I'd let her run my life. No chance. The next morning, her words still echoing in my head, I decided I wasn't going to sit around waiting for her next move. Who was this Karen anyway? I had to find out. I marched down to the local HOA office, determined to dig up some dirt. Someone had to know what I was up against. Inside, a friendly woman at the front desk greeted me with a warm smile finally. A normal human. How can I help you? She asked, her voice curious but kind. Hey, I'm new here, I said, flashing a quick grin. And I'd love to get the lowdown on this neighborhood and its rules, especially after last night. She nodded, all business, and told me to hang tight for a few minutes. When she came back, though, her vibe had shifted. She looked nervous, her eyes darting around. I can give you the HOA basics, she said, her tone hushed. But there's something here you shouldn't poke at too much. My ears perked up. What now? What exactly? I pressed, leaning in, my curiosity on fire. She glanced around again, like she was spilling state secrets, then sighed and whispered, It's Karen. She controls everything here, everything. Anyone who dares to stand up to her, they end up with problems, big ones. I nodded, gears turning in my head. Holy crap, this was starting to click. Karen wasn't just some nosy neighbor. She was a full-on suburban tyrant. I wasn't planning to dive into a war right then and there, but one thing was crystal clear. Karen was way more dangerous than she looked, and I just stepped into her crosshairs. The next day, I was finally starting to feel at home. Can you imagine the relief? Unpacking the last of my boxes, dreaming of a quiet life in my new Suburban. haven when bam, another insistent knock hammered at my door. My heart sank. Oh no, not again. I wasn't even surprised this time. Deep down, I knew exactly who it was. All I could do was pray Karen wouldn't push me too far. But guess what? There she was, bold as ever, standing on my doorstep with that same infuriatingly confident, almost smug grin plastered across her face. "Good afternoon, Jason," she chirped, her voice dripping with fake friendliness, like we were old pals catching up over coffee. "I spoke with the HOA's lawyer," she went on, oh so casually, "and he confirmed this house was sold by mistake. I think it'd be best if you left after all." "Left? My house? Are you kidding me?" I stared her down, not even trying to hide how little her words meant to me seriously. Did she think I'd just roll over? By mistake? I shot back, letting a little sarcasm slip out because, wow, I couldn't hold it in anymore. "Do you actually believe that, Karen? Because I sure as hell don't see any mistake here." Her face went pale for a split second, caught you, but she pulled herself together fast, like she'd rehearsed this little act. "I understand this might be unpleasant for you to hear," she said, all calm and collected now. "But the fact remains this house was never supposed to be sold. Our lawyer agrees, Jason. You wouldn't want to get tangled up in trouble, would you? This could drag on into a long, messy legal process." "Oh, please, spare me the sob story." I watched her like a hawk. Could she feel my eyes boring into her? There wasn't an ounce of real confidence in her voice. And her face? Tighter than a drum. She was trying to flex some legal muscle, but something about her shaky vibe screamed. She wasn't even sure of her own bluff. "Listen, Karen," the first snapped. Letting my irritation bubble right to the surface enough was enough. "I got this house fair and square, and that's not your problem to solve. I'm not leaving, got it? If you think you can scare me off with some half-baked mistake excuse, then you're the one who's mistaken." Her eyes sharpened, cutting into me like knives, and she stepped closer, too close, like she could just willpower me out of my own home. I saw her fingers clutch her purse tighter. She wasn't used to someone standing up to her. "You'll regret not listening to me," she hissed low and firm. "I'm warning you, Jason, we all keep order around here. This neighborhood isn't for you." Oh, that did it. I wasn't about to waste another second on her nonsense. "The only one causing disorder here is you, Karen." I fired back, planting myself in the doorway like a brick wall. "Try me. I bought this house legally, and all you can do is whine to whoever'll listen. But you're not getting what you want, not today, not ever." She froze, just standing there, her brain clearly scrambling for some way to flip the script. But when she saw I wasn't budging not an inch, she finally stepped back. "All right," she muttered, retreating like a wounded animal. "I hope you understand there'll be consequences, Jason. We'll be seeing each other again." She spun around and strutted off, leaving me at the door, my blood still pumping. Had I beaten her? Her intimidation game had crashed and burned, but oh, I knew in my gut she wasn't done with me yet. This was far from over. By evening, I was just starting to unwind. Couldn't I get one peaceful night? When another loud knock jolted me out of my calm. I peeked out the window and holy crap, there was Karen again, marching toward my house with a posse in tow. A small group of neighbors trailed her, and she looked so damn confident, so determined, like she'd already won. Most of them, though, they seemed unsure, hesitant even, but they still followed her. How did she rope them in? Karen clearly had a gift for bending people to her will. I flung the door open, and the tension hit me like a freight train. "Here we go again." "Jason," she started, the second I stepped out. "You left me no choice. I can't allow you to stay in this house. These people support me. They'll help me convince you." I glanced at the crowd behind her. Really, folks, and saw it plain as day. They weren't sold on this. Their faces were all confusion. No fire, no fight. But Karen? She didn't even notice, barreling on like a runaway train. "You broke the rules of this neighborhood," she declared, pointing at me like I was some criminal. You don't deserve to live here. It'd be better if you left on your own, then there won't be any problems. Problems? For who? I kept my cool, though FBI training, baby, and replied, "This is my house, Karen, and I've got all the documents to prove it. So if you want to keep this up, I'll have to ask you to leave." Her face tightened, her glare slicing through me. Did she really think I'd cave? "I told you, Jason," she growled, fists clenched. "I won't stand by while someone disrupts order. If you don't leave voluntarily, I'll be forced to take action." "Action? Oh, you've got to be kidding me." Suddenly, her hand darted out of her bag pepper spray. My instincts kicked in, years of training don't lie, and I lunged forward, grabbing her wrist before she could even think about using it. "Not so fast, Karen," I barked, my irritation exploding. "No more Mr. Nice guy. You have no right to threaten me." Her eyes popped wide, surprised much, as I yanked open my jacket and flashed my FBI badge for all to see. "You've got two choices," I said, holding it high. "Leave right now, or I arrest you for threats and attempted assault." "I can do it, Karen, and trust me, I will if you push me one more inch." The crowd gasped, stumbling back. Did they finally get it? Whispers rippled through them. Some edged away, others just froze, gaping like deer in headlights. Karen? She was livid, steam practically pouring out of her ears, but her little power play was crumbling fast. Her hand dropped, pepper spray dangling uselessly high, and she glared at me, pure hatred in her eyes. "This isn't over, Jason," she spat. "I won't let this go. Oh, give me a break. I cut her off enough already." "Keep your threats to yourself," I said, cool as ice. "I'm done with your games. Get out of here and don't come back, or you'll wish you had. Consequences? Bring it on." Her defeat was sinking in, and the crowd started peeling away. "See ya," suckers casting doubtful looks her way. Karen stood there, rooted, her smug victory slipping through her fingers. After a beat, she backed off, turned and vanished into the night without another word. I slammed the gate shut and slumped against it, catching my breath. What had I just kicked off? One thing was crystal clear. Karen wasn't the type to quit. And this? Oh, this was just the beginning of the storm I'd have to weather. Morning came, and I was ready for a fresh start. Couldn't I catch a break? But as I stretched and shuffled to the bathroom, flicking the light switch, nothing. No power. I twisted the faucet, no water either. What the hell? At first I thought, okay, maybe a fluke. But when I plugged something in and got zilch, my stomach dropped. This was no accident. I bolted to the mailbox, desperate for answers, and there it was, an envelope from the HOA. I ripped it open, my irritation spiking with every word one read. "Oh, you've got to be kidding me." I ripped open that HOA envelope, and my jaw dropped. "Can you believe this nonsense? Dear Mr. Harris," it read, all prim and proper. "The HOA of the district has decided that your stay in this house is illegal, as you have not gone through all the necessary procedures with us. As a result, we have disconnected all utilities in your home. We strongly recommend that you leave the property to avoid further sanctions." Illegal? My house? Were they seriously this arrogant, thinking they could get away with anything? My blood was boiling. How dare they? So I snatched my phone off the counter and dialed the utility company faster than you can say. "Karen's at it again." "Good afternoon, this is Jason Harris," the first practically shouted. "My electricity and water are shut off. What the hell is going on?" The operator stayed calm, bless her, and listened as I ranted, then dropped a bombshell. "Sorry, Mr. Harris, but we haven't received any instructions from the HOA to disconnect your services. We've got no clue who ordered this. We'll send a technician right over to fix it." Wait, what? I was floored. The HOA didn't even have the power to pull this stunt. Yet here I was, stuck in the dark with no water. How did this even happen? It hit me like a ton of bricks. I was just a pawn in their twisted little game. Okay, get that technician here ASAP. I snapped, hanging up, my mind racing. Karen, you sneaky devil, this has your name written all over it. While I waited, pacing like a caged lion, I decided I needed backup time to call Max. He's not just my buddy, he's the sheriff of this whole district, and with Karen's antics spiraling out of control, I knew he'd have my back. Hey, Max, I said, diving right in. I've got a huge problem with this neighbor, this neighbor woman. I spilled the whole saga pepper spray, threats, now this utility nonsense, and Max didn't hesitate. Listen, Jay, this is insane, he barked. She's gone way too far. If she pulls anything else, I'll haul her in for overstepping her authority. She needs to learn. She can't mess with people like this. I know her type, don't sweat it. I've got you covered. I thanked him, relief washing over me, and hung up. But one thing was crystal clear. Karen wasn't done flexing her imaginary power. Did she really think she could run the show forever? Fast forward to the next evening. Oh, you won't believe this! I was at my door, just soaking in the quiet, when I spotted a tow truck hooking up my car. My car! And there she was, Karen, standing there with that smug victory is mine smirk, like she'd already won the war. No way was I letting this slide. I stormed outside, striding toward that tow truck with fire in my veins. Hey! I yelled at the driver. Poor guy froze mid-hook. Are you seriously planning to tow my car? Karen clocked me coming, but didn't flinch. Instead, she stepped forward, all high and mighty, answering for him. Of course we're towing it, she sneered. It's parked incorrectly, and I think it needs to go. These are the rules in our neighborhood. Our neighborhood? Since when? My anger was simmering. How does she keep getting bolder? But I kept my cool. I had to get to the bottom of this. I don't even live in your little kingdom, Karen. I shot back, irritation dripping from every word. You don't get to decide where people park. What are you? The queen of the block now? She tried to hold that composed mask, but I saw it cracks in her confidence. You don't understand, she huffed. There are rules here, and they apply to everyone. You clearly don't get that this is HOA territory, and I run the HOA. Your car's parked illegally. Illegally? Oh, give me a break. I sighed. Crossing my arms, did she hear how ridiculous she sounded? And I wasn't about to let her snatch my car over her made-up nonsense. Karen, I said, calm but rock solid. You can't just decide what happens to my car. You've got no grounds to tow it. Do you even realize how absurd you sound right now? She paused, scrambling for some clever comeback to prop up her shaky ego. I said it's parked wrong, she insisted. This is my neighborhood. I decide who parks here and who doesn't. Do you really think I'm scared of your words? You just work for the HOA, but you've got no right to pull this, and you know it. Work for the HOA? Me? I almost laughed. I let her stew in that for a second, feel the heat. Karen. And right then, the tow truck driver, sensing this was going south fast, tried to keep working. Oh, you're so sure of yourself, huh? I said, my tone sharp and mocking. Why don't you show me just one document that proves you're right? She opened her mouth, but nothing came out. Ha! Her eyes darting over me like she could magically conjure a loophole. I knew it. She had zilch, just trying to bully her way through with fake rules. No documents, huh? I pressed, not giving her a breath to recover. Can you even tell me one legit reason my car can't be here? My patience was fraying. How much more of this could I take? And she just mumbled, tossing out weak excuses that wouldn't fool a toddler. I'd had it. I whipped out my phone and dialed Max, not even glancing her way. Hey, Max, I need you again, I said, urgency in my voice. Karen's trying to tow my car for no damn reason. Can you get over here? Max was on it in a flash. Of course, Jay, I'm coming now. Be there in minutes. I switched to speaker, standing firm by my car. Let's see her squirm now. Karen tensed up. Oh, she felt it. Her smugness melting as she realized I wasn't bluffing. You think Max is really gonna help you? She snapped, irritation lacing her words. But that doubt in her voice? Priceless! I grinned, gotcha. Max is my friend and the sheriff of this district. I said, cool and confident. He doesn't play around with lawbreakers, so you'd better stick around for him. Her eyes flickered with fear. Was she finally scared? And she wasn't ready for this showdown. Minutes later, Max rolled up in his patrol car, thank God, stepping out with that no-nonsense vibe, sizing up the scene like a pro. Karen, he barked, voice firm as steel. Show me the documents that say you can tow this car now. She stammered, her protest weaker by the second, glancing around like a trapped animal. No papers, huh? Of course not. Max didn't miss a beat, cutting through her flimsy act. You've got no documents, he snapped. You can't tow this without cause. It's illegal. Karen's panic kicked in, busted. Her whole scheme unraveling right there. Karen, Max said, authority booming, you're under arrest for attempted theft and abuse of power. You've got no legal ground. You violated a citizen's rights. He stepped forward, cuffs out, and before she could blink, he had her locked up. She went quiet, her bravado evaporating finally, and I stood there, relief flooding me like a cool wave. She got it now. Her reign was over. Max loaded her into the patrol car, and I watched her manipulation crash and burn justice. Sweet justice. It all ended right, with the law firmly on my side. I headed back inside, a weight lifting off my shoulders. These nightmares were done. My vacation was wrapping up, and I could head back to work in peace, knowing Karen was out of my hair for good. Thanks for sticking with me. Hit that like button and drop your thoughts below. Did this wild ride blow your mind?